Are you the sort of person who likes to shoot first and ask questions later? Are you more interested in learning what can and can't be destroyed in this game via trial and error? Do you wish to play like Rambo rather than having any degree of stealth or subtlety? If you said yes to any of my inquiries, I have the guide for you. How yin's doing? I'm Ian, and this is my Streets of Rogue character guide series, where we look at each and every character, see what they're good at, what they're bad at, and most importantly, if they're right for you. Today, as you could tell by reading the title and thumbnail of this video, we'll be covering the Soldier. So without further ado, let's get into it.
If fighting is sure to result in victory, then you must fight! Sun Tzu said that.
The Soldier is a starting character in Streets of Rogue, meaning owning the game is all that is required to play them. As for their backstory, it reads, the Soldier aspires to fight for the city. Unfortunately, there are no wars going on right now, so why not create one? That's where the resistance comes in. Rather than sitting around twiddling their thumbs, the Soldier will now have the opportunity to fight the good fight, and maybe even commit a few atrocities in the process. Hoo-yah! As for your starting stats, your firearms attribute is maxed out at 4, with melee not far behind at 3, and your other stats sitting at an average of 2, meaning you're more than equipped to take or deal damage, especially with your Modern Warfare trait, regenerating your HP when you're below 20 health. I recommend upgrading this trait at an augmentation booth or upon level up whenever you get the chance, since doing so will cause you to regenerate your health when you're below 40 HP instead of 20, which is always nice. You also have a hidden rivalry trait with the cannibals, meaning despite it not being said anywhere in character select, you actually get bonus XP for killing cannibals when playing the Soldier. As for your starting gear, you have a machine gun, which can be quite overpowered, especially in the slums, since realistically, until you get past the park, you're not going to see any kind of firearms on NPCs aside from the occasional shopkeeper with a shotgun, as well as the occasional police officer or gangster holding a pistol. Just be mindful of your ammo pool, because realistically, if you try to use this on every single NPC that you pick a fight with, you'll be running out of ammo faster than you think. You also start with 5 grenades, which have a surprisingly wide array of uses, and should be restocked at a load-o-matic whenever the opportunity arises. Grenades can be surprisingly versatile in this game, since realistically, unless we're talking about uptown lockdown walls or walls made of metal, you should be able to blow them up with ease with the grenades, meaning you can easily open up a doorway into any building you want access to with this weapon. Just don't go using them to burst down doors, because first of all, if the door is made of wood, you can use your bare fist to just punch the thing down in the first place, and second, and far more importantly, you have 3 door detonators, which I recommend using to play Ding Dong Ditch with building security in order to make getting missions done more easily. Just be sure the NPCs who will answer the door are a good distance away from the door in order to make sure that you can run away from the blast radius, since you don't start with the Blast Survivor trait as the Soldier. However, if you do manage to get the Blast Survivor trait as you level up, I recommend making liberal use of your landmines. This is because the Soldier starts with 3 landmines, which when combined with the Blast Survivor trait become de facto wallbusters, but otherwise work exactly as the name implies, drop around corners or behind doors to blow people up as you see fit. If you can place them down right, you can even bust random NPCs out of jail, which can be quite useful if you're going for an election victory. I strongly advise placing your grenades and landmines, as well as any other explosives you happen upon as you progress through the floors, in such a way that you'll kill as many people as possible once they go off. This is because you start with the Kill Immunizer, which gives you more ammo based on how many people you kill, meaning if you can kill a lot of people in a single clean shot, you'll end up getting a net gain in ammo. This won't work at restocking your landmines or grenades, but it does work with rocket launchers, shrink rays, pistols, and the machine gun in your starting inventory. The last item in your starting inventory is a combat helmet, which will reduce the damage you take at the cost of its own durability. As you could probably deduce, this character is best used for a guns blazing approach to things. Just be sure to visit an ammo dispenser or a loadout machine periodically, because it takes more bullets to kill someone than you'll get back with a Kill Immunizer if you decide to use a submachine gun. And if you intend to be using a wide array of firearms in your inventory as you go across the floor, for example, picking up pistols and shotguns as you go along your way, I recommend grabbing the Burning Bullets trait if you can, since it will allow you to open up far more passageways than you could otherwise without needing to use explosives. This is also a useful trick to get everyone to leave a building, since once a building is set on fire, everyone inside will try to run outside of the building and wait until the fire has been resolved, most likely either due to a lack of fuel to keep it going or a firefighter rushing in to put it out. This means if you have the Burning Bullets trait, you can fire a single pistol shot at the wall of a building and force the NPCs inside to walk into a literal minefield you set up in advance. Combine this with the fact that you can restock on landmines and grenades to your heart's content at loadout-o-matics, and you should have no real issue dealing with NPCs inside of flammable buildings. And for those of you who thought that they could solve things without bloodshed as a character who starts with a literal armory in their starting inventory, I'm gonna have to burst your bubble via explaining your big quest.
If God had wanted you to live, he would not have created me!
Your big quest is called Power Struggle, wherein you must destroy every single generator on a given floor before moving to the next. If you have a wrench or an EMP grenade, you can actually discreetly set these things off on a 10-second delay before they detonate, allowing you to destroy these things without anyone knowing that you are the one that destroyed them. This can prove invaluable for those of you who are trying to go for an election victory, since it means that the people inside the building will no longer need to be purged in order to ensure that you don't have people voting against you. However, if you don't mind making a lot of noise and having everyone in the building attack you for blowing up their stuff, you can just use 3 unarmed hits with your bare fists in order to set these things off in order to destroy them. Just bear in mind that they do explode when you destroy them, so you don't want to be right up against them when they go off. And you'll want to be particularly wary of the overclocked generators, since the explosions they give are not only much larger than the regular generators, but also 10 times more devastating, easily liquefying anyone caught within. Still, if you manage to get the Blast Survivor trait, this generator can actually be your greatest asset, since as long as you are the one that set off the explosion, you won't take damage from it with this trait. Meaning you can actually bait a lot of NPCs into this thing's blast radius and then set it off, allowing you to get a lot of easy kills and therefore a lot of easy ammo from your kill immunizer. One of the best ways to deal with this quest, however, in my experience, is to simply throw a grenade or fire some other kind of explosive at the generator, then immediately teleport away before the explosion goes off, so that all NPCs nearby will end up rushing towards the explosion and see you nowhere in sight. You'll need the Teleport Happy trait if you wish to use this trick on disaster floors, however, but it's completely worth it if you know what you're doing. This method does require you to actually be able to hit the generator from outside the building, however, so while it can be useful if the generator spawns against the wall in a corner somewhere, if it's somewhere near the center of the building, this trick will not be useful. So while this method can prove invaluable as you progress through the various floors, don't take it as a silver bullet solution to every single problem. You'll need to actually bust into a few buildings and deal with security in order to destroy a few generators as you progress. Regardless of how you decide to go about this quest, if you manage to reach the mayor's village having successfully completed it, you'll not only gain a boost to your weapon accuracy, but also ammo dispensers and loadout-o-matics will service you for free. On an unrelated note, please remember that your chance of threatening an NPC is based on what weapon you have pulled out, so make sure you have your deadliest weapon on standby if you intend to use words to get what you want. If it works, you save ammo, and if it doesn't, well, at least you don't have to waste time swapping weapons to kill someone. And remember, just because you can't walk through something doesn't mean you can't shoot through it. This is particularly important when it comes to windows, since not only can you set off generators by simply shooting a pistol at them through a window, but you can also end up accidentally hitting someone through a window as you deal with building security, which can particularly screw you over in Uptown, as if some upper cruster gets hit, you can end up having a security alarm go off and cause a lockdown wall to occur and a super cop coming for your position. Also important to note, other soldiers who spawn in the game world will actually be allied to you. This can make things easier for you as they will spawn in natural military camps in the park levels, as well as showing up in the Warzone disaster as they fight off hordes of cannibals. All in all, I give The Soldier an action movie out of 10. If you want to run around shooting stuff like the protagonist of an action flick, there's no character in the base game better than The Soldier. That's all for now though. Like the video if you did, subscribe if you don't want to miss the next one, comment what you want to see me cover in the future. I've been Ian, you have been you, and this has been the Streets of Rogue character guide to The Soldier. And stay tuned, the creeps and blods are coming up next.